Hi, I'm Bob Clayton. In each and every life, we face many challenges. To be a witness of individuals who rise above their disabilities, fears, and limitations to achieve amazing things is an incredible experience. I have had the great pleasure to be a witness and a part of many such events. In early 2001, I began training for the New York City Marathon, my first. While training that year, on September 11th, all our lives would be forever changed, and my introduction to charitable giving began. I dedicated my 26.2 miles to the families of the victims who were taken from them that day. Through the generosity of family, friends, and business associates, we were able to raise thousands of dollars for the families of the World Trade Center tragedy. Over the next few years, my wife Tiny and I participated in many events to raise funds and awareness for several different charities. And then I met Lon Dolby. Lon introduced me to World Team Sports, an organization dedicated to disabled athletes. We were invited to participate in a 100-mile bike ride from Washington to Gettysburg. Many returning soldiers from Iraq were faced with life-altering disabilities. So to support our troops, my wife and I, our sons Austin and Taylor, took the challenge. Now all we needed were bikes. The experience was one of the most impactful of our lives. The Marine Corps team brought my son Taylor under their wing. Once they saw, he wanted to ride up front and center. General Magnus loved his spirit, and on the second day, my 16-year-old was sporting a Marine Corps jersey. I thought we were there to help them. Funny, isn't it? We brought home with us so much more than we could possibly have given, and both our boys finished their first 100-mile bike ride. A few years ago, I was introduced to my neighbor, Doug Rabin. Doug runs a charity called Trying for Kids. Before I knew it, Tiny and I had signed up for our first triathlon. Now I needed to learn how to swim. Triathloning for kids. I've got to do this. When you find inspirational people, you can't help but be inspired. So a group of us hosted a party to raise money for the kids. Our friends Jerry and Donna couldn't make the event. They sent over a $100 check with a note. They didn't know who to make it payable to. Within the next 2 months, every parent's nightmare. Their daughter had a horrific accident, and the surgeon came to them in the waiting room and said they didn't know if they could save her leg. With the very best at specialized surgery, the latest technology, and a selflessly dedicated staff, they did. 2 months prior, unbeknownst to them, their blank check had been made payable to Schneider Children's Hospital, the same hospital that saved Morgan's leg. And the question presents itself once again: who gets the greater benefit of the charitable work that we do? A natural progression of triathlons is the Ironman. As I trained and enjoyed the company of many triathletes in Trying for Kids, I was overwhelmed by the challenge of a 140-mile event. Then someone introduced me to the story of Dick and Ricky Hoyt, a man of seasoned age carrying his disabled son through many an Ironman. So with my Trying for Kids teammates and the motivation of a cause greater than myself, I took it on. My training was unorthodox. My long swim was the Maggie Fisher Memorial Cross Bay 5.25-mile swim. My long bike was the 9/11 Tribute of 150 miles, and my long run was New York City Marathon training with my buddy Dr. John. The epiphany which came to me during the Ironman was, as much as this will be an incredible experience in my life, I get so much more out of helping others achieve their great sense of accomplishment. 2 days later, my son Austin asked me if I could help him train for his first Ironman. We all get back so much more than we could ever give. Be the change that you want to see in the world. Thank you.